Starting at the beginning of this battle sequence, we see Sora, Donald, and Goofy fighting what I count to be 7 new enemies. The little guys are completely new and unique to the Toy Story world, to our current knowledge. They seem inspired by Buzz Lightyear with a design that sees them sporting a jetpack and a laser gun. In this next shot, we see an extra 3 Heartless has spawned on top of the bed, and that they can utilize those aforementioned jetpacks to fly. Unlike Buzz. Also, if we look to the lower left, we see the ball has switched positions, which may be because, like Birth by Sleep and Dream Drop Distance, spherical objects can be used as a form of offense. This is hinted later when Sora lunges at an enemy and the soccer ball literally is moved by a draft of air, and that's some dope attention to detail. Also, this lunge attack is a new modifier that seems reminiscent to Spears in Final Fantasy 15, in which Sora does 2 pokes, then he does a 3rd full lunge. The sub-trailer shows a few differences, but nothing too significant. Also, did anyone find it weird this is apparently Sora, Donald, and Goofy's first visit to this world, and Sora starts with the Toy Story keychain? Will we be seeing a change to the conventions of Kingdom Hearts, and keychains will be given to you almost at the start somehow? Probably close to the world map chest, there will be a chest that also houses the keychain to the keyblade of that specific world. Next, Sora, Donald, and Goofy move things to the outside, but they're now accompanied by Woody and Buzz. Nice. This means that the main character will no longer be the only character fighting alongside us. We start on a roof, but we need to talk about the differences between the 2 trailers. See, in the sub version of the trailer, we are welcome to the same enemies, but Sora has obviously engaged them prior to us getting here. As we see one of the purple guys go into its limit break, meaning that it's been engaged and even struck before, so the idea that we will immediately be hopping out the window and onto the garage may not be true, and we can sort of prove it with what we see in later portions of this segment. We see a trampoline in a good portion of the house. We know that the area that this segment we see the trailer cut to is none other than the roof of the garage, because as we see Sora, when he does his drop, he falls right into the driveway. With that fact known, maybe Sora and the gang will initially be taking the door, or they will legitimately drop from the window straight down into the yard. Sora then goes on the offensive and performs a drop and pause. This isn't mentioned in literally any other trailer analysis, but did you find it interesting that we only see one car amongst this road? Maybe this is our way to Galaxy Toys. This is even hinted in the robot sequence. If you look closely, when it gets to the portion of the trailer, you'll see the roof of cars going by in the far distant background. So maybe we'll be taking this car to Galaxy Toys. Back to the drop though, we see Sora now perform what we thought was the return of the drop minigame, which I was really excited for because with the power of the PS4, we could have seen him literally perform a halo jump from space, and as things came into focus, we learned what the world was, enemies would spawn in, and things like that. It would have been a nice aesthetic touch, and of course bringing back something that the fans truly love from Dream Drop Distance. However, we learn here that that isn't the case. After reaching the ground, there's an almost immediate cut to the reveal of this keyblade's transformation, and we find out that it's a hammer. We saw something close to this years ago when Nomura uploaded screenshots of Sora lugging a huge object of light. This is intriguing though, because this keyblade transformation is like of a sheer size though in those images, but here it seems a little bit smaller. Also, we see that Sora's magic changes to accommodate what I can only guess to be the weight. So of course, with the weight of this hammer, he uses magic in a different way. He can't put his keyblade in front of him. So imagine things such as thunder actually sitting on the hammer, causing paralysis to enemies on the receiving end of blows, or Blizzaga now spinning around Sora, then launching outward, kind of like what we saw with, of course, the Lingering Will. The possibilities are endless when it comes to keyblade transformations that take on such a significant change, versus of course us having the guns where Sora could shoot out rays of light, or he could shoot out, of course, magic if that magic stuff is still going to be in the game from back in 2013. Of course, such a significant change would definitely be like, something that should change up the magic. It makes perfect logical sense. As far as the basic combo structure of the hammer, Sora pounds it into the ground, causing a wide ground pound spread attack. I just wish that the damage was permanent to the world itself until you leave the world, but that'd be the cause of a lot more unnecessary programming, and doing something like that would just take up a lot more time because they would have to do it for each individual world that the damage stays present until you leave that world. For the finisher, Sora raises it up and dunks it on these bitches, son. He just like lifts it up and is like, yo, y'all wanna play? Take this, niggas. He just plays whack-a-mole with their ass. Then we see it in its phase 2, which is a drill, and this is very generic pounds, and once Sora has done enough damage, then of course some spikes will protrude from the ground as Sora pounds it. We also see some cool shit to where he goes underground, and I'm guessing that this is his dodge roll when he takes on this form, because it would make sense since this thing is almost like the same as size as half of his body. So for him to dodge roll still would kind of be weird. It would be like him having to hold his arm out and then dodge roll because this thing is so big. And once again, just a neat touch to detail here because, them saying, hey, he shouldn't be able to dodge roll, let's just give him the ability to drill underground, definitely makes a lot of sense for the object that he's holding, and of course its sheer size and how this will kind of negate some of his momentum and his ability to move. But then he does this Omega Mollywop version to where it's like this big ass thing that just comes out of the ground and drills straight up into the air with these whips of I guess air or light energy coming off of it. He also has an aerial combo that works as you'd expect the drill to, him just drilling through the air, of course, with those light air whips coming off again. The final finisher of this transformation is this lasso in which Sora grabs an enemy and whips them around, causing this splash effect. Obviously, this won't be useful against bosses unless those bosses feature like little companions. This won't be too useful. But note this is after a cut, so maybe this could also be the shot lock in actuality. We just don't get any indication of this being a shot lock, and the key reverts back to its original form after this scene goes by. So keep that in mind, that what we're seeing could be a shot lock. Now it should be noted though, Sora takes damage. We don't see him actually having invincibility frames, so I have to agree with Bloody Biscuits when he says that Square is focusing more on Flash with this second transformation, because of course, well, with the second transformations in general is what he said, because I have to agree with him when he says that of course the arrow guns, their second transformation is a lot more based on Flash rather than of course its utility use in battles, because we just see like even the combos are kind of horrendous because it's just like big ass lungy swipes and stuff. So imagine still being able to take damage while you're stuck with those kind of combos and fighting a boss at the same time. It won't correlate together, but these first forms are looking like they're more so based around like combat, and it's fine because there's no say that we have to take up their second forms. There's also the opportunity that we can just press circle and just have the second form to be skipped completely. So hopefully they will do it, and if they don't, then of course as fans we can just give Square Enix feedback and they'll be able to implement the feature through some kind of update. At the end of this sequence, we see a part of Buzz's attacks as well, and he just seems to be spinning and spazzing the fuck out. I don't know what's going on with Buzz here. I don't know what he's supposed to be trying to do. So before we go into the Galaxy Toys segment, let's insert some context here. We see the 3 robots in their entirety. So let's get a closer look at the colors that they have. We see red, blue, and purple. These colors are more than an aesthetic touch, as we learn when Sora pilots them that they have these 3 distinct letters. I believe they go P for power, S for speed as we see it using a jetpack, and of course the P is because we see the red one utilize the punch, and the M is for magic of some sorts. Maybe it's a railgun can shoot out different types of energy. We know from Tetsuya Nomura that of course the piloting of these things I think will go like Heartless and Sora can pilot them, so that's why we see an initial health bar, and this is also why we see more of these robots scattered about as the battle progresses. Also, there's apparently a fourth Giga. On a poster, there's a gray one that we don't get to see throughout this whole battle in its entirety. However, this does match up and correlate with the coloration of whatever Sora is fighting at the end of the trailer before young Xehanort gives his speech. If you were thinking these guys would be the boss, Nomura informed us these guys are just the world's gimmick and that there are multiple levels to this area. If we look at the beginning, we see the number to the floor above Sora's head. It says level 2, so obviously we will be visiting those different levels. Also, if we look at the Galaxy Toys poster, we can see that there's many toys on sale right now, and maybe that is kind of telling us what we will be fighting amongst these different levels. So I don't know why they would, I know why they would put like the Gigas at the bottom, because they're the biggest, right? And they also have like a lot more mobility, so they need like a lot more space. So I'm wondering just like, how is it going to work? Will those other ones be on every level, or will they be sporadically spread out amongst the upper levels? I'm guessing that these levels will go up to about 3, as that does seem to be about probably as much as the PlayStation 4 can handle. I don't see it being able to handle like 4 or 5 different levels of this much detail, unless the lower levels kind of become like kind of shaded out and they lose a little bit of their detail as you get further away from them. Now, also what we have to talk about is that if we look at of course the space capsule machine, which is just a little thing that drops out like toys, like toy eggs and stuff that may have a little critter in there for children. It may cost a quarter, like quarter price toys. We get to see that there's this railing and stuff that's on top of it. So I'm guessing that that's how we're going to be getting to like at least level 2. And with that being the case, maybe with it being how we're going to get to level 2, we see young Xehanort actually talking on the top of this thing. So that's where he's speaking from when he's talking to Sora. And we know this for a fact because we see the railing behind him, and we also see Sora looking up. So obviously he's looking up to young Xehanort, and young Xehanort is standing where this railing is. So I wonder if this whole sequence of going up these different levels will involve us chasing down some Seeker of Darkness. Now, I didn't mention this in the beginning of the analysis, but just to talk about a few miscellaneous things that I did catch on to that I feel like does need to be said. There is the idea in my own personal thoughts of what we get to see in this trailer, that the Heartless that are spread out throughout this trailer seem to be influenced by Braig in some kind of way. If you look at the shape of their weapons do seem kind of shaped closely to those same weapons that we see him carrying in Kingdom Hearts 2 and Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. So maybe they are influenced by him in some kind of way. So maybe we'll be chasing Braig around, and then of course we'll meet young Xehanort as we fight the Grey Giga, which he won't be piloting it because we know that Sora was speaking to him. So maybe he'll have control over it. Maybe he'll bring it into existence with his power. If you remember in Dream Drop Distance, he was able to create dream meters, or nightmares I should say, on the fly. So maybe he'll still be able to have like that same kind of ability in reality, and he'll be able to kind of create monsters or create beings from darkness. And speaking of monsters, there's also a poster that says monsters at the top. Now personally, I believe that this is a link to telling us or hinting at the fact that the Monster Inc. world was kind of being showcased earlier, but I think it went over all of our heads until finally we got the announcement, or we got the leak that Monsters Inc. would actually be in the game. And I do believe that that Monster Inc. leak is real, because when you have one image, yeah, someone can fake that, but to have like fucking 5-6 images uploaded just to like say, no niggas, this shit was real, I didn't create this and fake it, to say, nah niggas, this is real, I mean, you can't argue anymore. And also, if you look at the poster, what we get to see is an orange monster, an orange clawed monster. Now, it doesn't look like it has fur of any sorts. It looks like it's reptile based. It's some type of reptilian monster. So it's orange though, and that's what I wanted to talk about, because we know that Sora will take on an orange transformation in the Monsters Inc. world. But as far as my closing thoughts go, that's it and all that I have. Of course, also that monster could be the the boss of this world, like the complete boss of this world, and maybe young Xehanort will create it instead of the Great Giga. However, the color of what we see Sora fighting when young Xehanort is speaking does correlate with the color of the other Giga. Also, we see the Gigas littered about, and we don't see any kind of display for the monstrous monsters. So it could be a hint at Monsters Inc. that was put into this trailer or put into this world, and it just went over our heads because we weren't expecting it. So that just about wraps up my analysis. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I just wanted to say once again, thank you for 1,000 subscribers, man. It's been crazy as hell bringing you guys content. And as you guys know, Kingdom Hearts will be at D23 Japan Expo. New information and hopefully new trailers are on their way out later on this week, and we will be blowing it out of the water with even more analysis. We'll be blowing it out of the water with even more content, and I'm just gonna keep on going hard for you guys because you guys truly deserve every single bit of coverage. You guys deserve everything, man, for getting me to 1K subscribers. Right now it's make or break for me on YouTube, and I'm trying to mold this into exactly what I've always wanted it to be when I started doing YouTube videos back in 2014, and that was to build a community of fans like me of the same games that I love and games that I hope to play for you guys. And nothing has changed. My plans are still, when Kingdom Hearts 3 releases, to do a 24-hour live stream. In fact, I've been looking at computers and laptops and stuff that I think will be able to handle it. And then of course I'm also thinking about getting like a dual monitor setup and doing all kinds of things. And of course that's just going to take away from like me being able to do videos at a certain point, but I'm going to do whatever it takes to be able to provide the best content possible for you guys. Now, I do also have to give you guys a little bit of an announcement, because as I say that, next week we will be leaving the drought of Kingdom Hearts 3 information, I should say. And with that, of course, that means there's going to be a lot more official things that are going to be said. So, starting this week and next week, I won't be bringing Year of Kingdom Hearts 3 videos. And I know that I said there will be a video every week of the year, but please try and understand that with new information, official information, to try and put like videos at this level of detail out and at the same time try and cover that, something is going to have to give, because one of them is going to take priority and one of them is going to take a lot more time. And I never know what's going to happen with other games that I cover. So instead of doing a Year of Kingdom Hearts 3 video, of course, obviously there's going to be the trailer, there may be a gameplay reveal of some sorts, and then of course we're going to be having like 5 or 6 interviews from different like websites with Tetsuya Nomura and Shinji Hashimoto. So there's just going to be a lot to talk about on its own for Kingdom Hearts 3, and that's just going to allow me to be able to give you guys great content such as trailer analysis in a more timely manner. It's going to give me the opportunity to bring you guys those little videos I do to where I round up what Tetsuya Nomura says in those interviews and bring them to you guys. And if something happened with another game that I cover, I'll also be able to bring that. So thank you guys for tuning into this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this trailer analysis. Let me know what's the one thing I pointed out that you didn't hear from other trailer analysis, or you didn't learn from other trailer analysis that I pointed out. Is it the cars going by in the background? Is it the idea that of course the capsule machine has the railing that leads us to the higher levels? Is it of course the gray Giga that may potentially be what Sora is going to fight when young Xehanort comes into the picture in this world? Or the idea that the Heartless have weapons that are kind of based on Braig? Those are things that I know I personally haven't heard from anyone's analysis. And hell, I watched Sora Island 1's analysis because shouts out to Sora Island 1. That's like the one Kingdom Hearts YouTuber that is big. Don't think I'm trying to shit on like, you know, small channels. That's not true. I actually do want to work with some small channels and give them some exposure from off my channel, and the same vice versa, and actually just like kind of start our own little, you know, discussion community. But of course, I've even watched his analysis, and to say that he does the best analysis out there, there are some things that he missed. Now, if you go to him on Twitter, he tells us that, yeah, he did see it, or he found out about it later after the analysis. And why upload a completely new video, like an analysis 2.0 type video? But obviously, Sora Alam 1 is that guy when it comes to analysis. He's that guy when it comes to gameplay and stuff like that. But there were things that I know that I saw that he didn't see. And of course, I kept them to myself because I didn't want mans fucking analyzing the trailer and putting everything in there. And then I'd be stuck the fuck out. But mad respects to Sora Island 1, mad respects to everyone that does Kingdom Hearts content, and mostly mad respects to you guys, the Kingdom Hearts fandom. This has been your boy Amaziah. Don't forget to do a little A-class gaming and everything you do. Don't forget to keep it A-class. I love you guys, and peace the heck out.